Hey, welcome again, folks, to the Sporting Spotlight with Bazz and Phil. But this week, a special guest, a very special guest. I've been sitting opposite you for over the last year or so, and we've had some fantastic guests in, as you know. We've
stars.
had some Dizzy last week was fantastic. But I'm sitting across from you, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm sitting across from a four-time Olympian here. One of the great sporting people of SA, and I don't mind saying that to your face, because when I watched basketball, and I wasn't a great basketball fan, the only reason I watched was because of you. Quite seriously, it was the only reason that I watched the 36ers or the Cannon, or whoever, was to see you. So today, thanks to ADA, thanks to Billy and the boys down at ADA, one of the great air conditioning places in Australia, without a shadow of a doubt, I thought we might have a chat with you.
You know, I'm a little uncomfortable about this, don't you, mate? You know,
I know that you don't like it. I know that you don't like talking about yourself all that much. But when we walked away from Dizzy, and I thought to myself, right, who's next? Who are we going to do? Whatever. You know, we got a lot of options to talk to. Some great sports people around that we're chasing at the moment.
You couldn't get anyone else, so you said, mate,
couldn't get anyone else.
So here we are.
But I thought, mate, as I said, you're a four-time Olympian. Your record and your honours speak, we have to do you. So today,
we're doing it.
It's Phil Smyth.
All right.
And we've even got you up on the screen.
I saw Ashby's done a great job there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's just going, so anyway, let's start talking now. Yeah.
I think he might have, is he taking the mickey there?
Yeah, the comb over.
Okay.
He's gone straight to the front bar.
It's not the one, is it? Yeah, that's right. But Phil, first of all, mate, congratulations on a wonderful career. Because it is a wonderful career. It's a fantastic career. Tell me where it all started. You're an Adelaide boy, Adelaide born?
Adelaide born. Yeah, Adelaide born. Lived at Ascot Park. Mum and Dad had a house at Ascot Park. Older brother, two younger sisters.
Yeah.
Got into basketball. Footy and basketball were my two big loves.
Yeah.
And then accelerating, played at Sturt and school footy.
The Sabres,
and then had to make a choice at about 15 whether I'd play footy or basketball.
Yeah.
And I was probably more going down the footy thing. We'd just come back from a state trip to Perth, and I played centre-half forward, and they were, oh, geez, this kid's pretty good.
Right,
teams are talking to me, and I had a group of mates that I played with, obviously, and then we were all going to go on next year. But the guy that coached the next year was one of those coaches, you know, because they come in after your game, and they're just abusive. He was always abusing the players, but over the top abuse. You know, we're going to a little bit. This was way over, even back then. Way over.
Okay. Yeah.
So 3 or 4 of my mates said, look, why don't we just stick with basketball? He'll be gone in a year. Then we'll all come back and play footy.
Yeah.
But never got back. You know, basketball took off for me, and just some lucky scenarios happened along the way for me, and then accelerated through, and you know, was the right choice.
So you started with Sturt.
Yep.
Sturt, which would have been a close hand.
Well, my first couple of years I played with South Adelaide, but then went to Sturt because it was United Church, and I was playing in the church comp, and they would come and play with us. So just, you know, went over. It was easier. They were closer to mum and dad, and riding my bike to training and stuff like that instead of have to get in the car. So so my whole junior career, other than the first 2 years, was with Sturt.
But things took off pretty quickly for you because you know next minute I don't know, I think you're at the institute or you're somewhere. You've just jumped from footy's gone, footy's history.
Footy's gone. It went really quick. So at the Sturt, the club I went to, a lot of the senior players retired. So I jumped at 15 to playing 16 playing senior basketball. So there was good exposure there, and I had some really good coaches, had some great development coaches. Were really skills orientated, and I loved it. So they spent time with me, and I loved spending time with them. So you know, it's do the extras. Mum always said, for some reason, you're always interested in doing more. You know, like okay, train and get up early, you go and train, and no one else would be there. And come be late, you'd be the last one out. So like, whether it was an obsession or not, I don't know, but it was healthy. And then obviously, I reckon the Australian team came to have a camp in Adelaide for a couple of days, and I was only 15 or 16 at the time, and they were just trying to get a couple of players that they thought might have some potential eventually. So I went to that first training with the Australian team and thought, I want to be part of this.
Wow.
And then
it's a wow.
A year or two later, I was on the team. So, you know, once you're mixing with that, then you go, this is what I want to do. I know this is where I want to be.
3-time championship player with the Cannons. Why the Cannons? Why are you doing over there?
Yeah, it was a combination of things that happened. Bob Turner, the guy that had moved from Newcastle, he'd been trying to get me to go to Newcastle for a couple of years. I was running a business. I started off with a couple of your mates, Alan Greer and Jeff Motley, at a sports store with a good mate of mine, Stan Wickham, and they were looking for a add-on staff, and so I applied and got the job, and then I'd been there 5 or 6 years, and they'd bought another store out at Norwood. It was called Red Leg Sports Store, so I bought that off of them, and so that was my store, and I was running that, and I'd been in a couple of years, it was going pretty well, and then the offer came up. Bob Turner, the coach, had gone to Canberra, so he was trying to get me to come to Canberra. At the same time, Adrian Hurley, when they opened up the Institute, who was assistant coach with the Australian team, was offering me a job to come and be a full-time assistant coach at the Institute of Sport.
Yep.
My ex-wife, Jenny Cheeseman, had been offered a job there, so the scenario to go was all too good. So that's how Canberra became. And we were only going to go for 2 years.
Yeah.
We were there for 10.
Yeah.
Kept winning. It's always kept winning. And basketball in Canberra was the biggest ticket in town, along with the Canberra Raiders. So it was a great place for basketball for me in a coaching field and in a playing field. Yeah. So hence that was that period in Canberra.
Yeah. So the move from Canberra.
Yep.
Where are you off to now?
Adelaide.
Back home?
Yeah, always wanted to come back to Adelaide. Just the scenarios at different times. Well, Canberra kept winning.
Yeah.
And, you know, the pull to come home to family was always there.
Yeah.
And then there were a couple of things. Family members got ill. So we said, now's the time to go. So came back and thought we'd finish up playing in Adelaide. Played a couple of years here and then went to Sydney. Played a year there and then damaged my shoulder.
Yeah.
Came back from the shoulder injury, and I'd said it all through my whole career, when I wouldn't do the extras that had made me the player that I thought I could be the best I could be.
Yeah.
That was my cue to get out.
Yeah.
So instead of a lot of players I found across the journey try and play an extra couple of years. You know, they don't know what they're doing afterwards.
Yeah.
So they know they're not doing the right thing, but I'll just play one more year. I'll just hang on. I'd made that decision really early that if I wouldn't do the little extras that gave me the edge, then that was time. So rehabbed my shoulder, came back from that. I went down to Melbourne and spent some time with the Australian doctor, Pete Harcourt. He was great. And then trained with the Melbourne Tigers, and they offered me a contract, Lindsay Gaze did. And I went and said to Linz, nah, mate, I just don't want to do the extra work anymore. I just don't have the drive to do it. Yeah. And Linz was great. He'd always been great to me. Yeah. So, mate, you're out of the game a long time. Yeah. Thought about it for a while and just went, nah, that's what I'd said at the start, so I'll honour that. Yeah. And that was it. And then I wasn't going to coach. I didn't really have a plan to go to after that. In fact, Channel 7 had offered me a job working in the media with them, and that was something that I was interested in, but never really liked the media. It's not a team environment. Dead right. So then the Sixers job came up. A fella called Ray Wood, who was a guy I'd played against and we'd been mates, played on the Australian junior team together, rang and said, look, I'm on the board. Would you interview for the job? Yeah. I thought, oh, it's now or never, you know, because if you're out of it too long, you've been out of the game too long. Yeah. So as luck would have it, Bernie Lewis and the board decided to give me a chance, and then had 11 years coaching the Sixers.
And 3 flags.
Yeah, so 3 was the lucky number, mate. Yeah. And then that finished and got involved with footy. Yeah. It's a strange one, I know. You think, how does a basketball coach go to footy? And Mark Williams was a good mate of mine, so that probably got me in there. And a fellow called Rob Snowden, he came on. James Fantasia was at the Bulldogs. Yeah. So I went and spent a week with the Bulldogs, and then Damien Hardwick got the job at Richmond and went and spent a bit of time with Dimmer through the Richmond time. And then Rob Snowden, Matty Primus was at Port at the time and said, mate, he could use a friend towards the end. So I spent a bit of time with Matty. Yeah. And then rang up and said, look, Chris Fagan needs a coaching friend. And so then it became they all became jobs along the way. And
still there.
Been with Brisbane, this will be the 7th year. Wow. 7th year with the Lions.
So, not too many people would know that.
No,
Phil Smyth is actually in the box up the top there. You're up there.
In the box. I've got a great seat for a bloke that doesn't do much.
Yeah. with Fagan.
Yeah, I'm happy in the shadows, mate. I like being in the shadow there, and it's been great. Chris Fagan, Danny Daly, mate, are just 2 of the best blokes you could work with. And the coaching and the coaches, all the coaches are great, and the players are fantastic. I love the environment, so hence keep doing it for a bit longer.
Yeah, and a good win on
it
was a good
Saturday
win on the
It was a good game, mate. I tell you, you know,
bastards.
yeah, my mum says the same thing because she's black in one eye and white in the other. But it was a great game of footy.
It was a good game.
You know, sometimes you're in the box and you go, "This is a grind. This is a hard game." No, not. You know, you see it differently to the spectators because you've got a greater attachment and you understand what's going on. But it was an entertaining game in that, for mine, it was a 7-minute window where Brisbane got out by 5 or 6 goals and looked like they were going to open it right up.
Blow it out.
And then that kind of just sat on that margin. It doesn't feel like that when you're boxed because Power came back really well. Yeah. You know, got it back to 2 goals and then Brisbane got out to another couple and they could never, it was just that margin that sat there that was enough at the end of the game. And there's some moments in sport where you go, just I wish I hadn't seen that.
Yeah.
Powell Pepper did his knee.
Shocking.
Sammy, in front of us. And it just, your heart immediately goes out to the player. Even though he's opposition, you go, that's just, you saw it buckle and you go, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, no.
Exactly how I felt.
And, you almost feel like you want to throw up.
Yeah.
But the game itself, taking that away, and, I know a couple of other guys get injured over the course of the game, but that's the major one. Afterwards you go, it was a good game of footy.
Yeah,
it would have been a good game to watch if you were home watching it.
Yeah.
Had a good atmosphere to it.
Yeah.
But it was entertaining. It wasn't the, we get up St Kilda style, and I'm not having a go at them, but they get up early in the first quarter and then they just shut the game down, and it's 5-6 at the end of the game, and you go, we still win. It's good. We want the win, but there is a component where you have to entertain the crowd.
Yeah.
And I thought it was one of those games this year where you go, that was and there's been some ripping games this year that other teams have been in, not just Brisbane or Port.
Okay, let's talk Olympics, because 80, 84, 88 and 92.
Yep.
Those are great years to play basketball.
Oh, it was fantastic.
You're talking about, I think you ran into the dream team at one stage, and maybe a lot of people would know what I'm talking about, but run me through the names on that dream team.
Well, Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah, I heard of him.
Magic Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Larry Bird.
Larry.
There's the poor three starting. So if you look at the 80s, you go, well, that was the time when basketball started to boom in Australia as well. From about 82 onwards, it was on the back of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. It created this great rivalry, Lakers and Celtics.
Yeah.
And television, we're just starting to get all that TV from the States. We didn't have Foxtel, ESPN and Sky and all that. Then it was pretty much 7, 9, 10 and 2.
Yeah.
But suddenly that had created such a huge focus on sport.
Absolutely did.
Those two names were Magic and all the kids were playing basketball. If you walk around the street, most of the kids had a Magic or a Bird shirt on.
Yeah.
And you go, pretty impressive. And then obviously Jordan came along. It was the most phenomenal name in the game of basketball probably ever.
Yeah.
And you go, those three guys alone turning up. Charles Barkley was there, of course, and turn up the Olympic Games. But the 92, we'd come back from a tour in 92, and Magic Johnson had just announced that he'd contracted the HIV virus.
Yeah.
Now remember, we're talking 1992, not 2025.
Yeah.
So the medical advice around AIDS at that time was pretty small. So the stories where you could catch it by breathing on someone if I was in the same room, or and then I know it had to be transferred through blood. It could be transferred through saliva, and obviously if you're intimate with someone that's got it, you can get it that way. So there were all this. No one really knew how it happened.
Yeah, true.
And so we'd come back from a trip overseas, and the journalist rang up, and there was the news and the advertiser, of course, in Adelaide said, how did the trip go? Because we're preparing for the Olympic Games. So we'd been in Europe, talked about that, and had quite a long conversation about it all. And then she said, Magic Johnson's just announced that he's got the HIV virus. How do you feel about that? I said, so it's really sad news. She goes, how do you feel about playing against him? So I've got no issue in playing against Magic Johnson as long as medically it's okay, which was my comment. Yeah. Next day in the paper, the headlines were Smyth refuses to play Magic Johnson.
I remember this,
So it became a massive, it was a worldwide story, because you've basically offended one of the greatest players in the world.
Yeah.
So, and the build up to the Olympics, there's much more world focus now, not just Adelaide and there were stories everywhere. Sydney Morning Herald had got it, Victorian papers had got it. It was everywhere. There were pictures, and some of them quite clever. I didn't feel like that at the time. There were pictures of me with a condom over my head saying I could play against Magic Johnson like that because, I'm safe. And but there was a week, it was the most horrific 2 weeks of my sporting life. Yeah. In the end, just built a house in Canberra, and I had 24-hour security around the house. There were people driving up and throwing bottles and eggs at my house saying that I hated the gay community and I hated... And honestly, I didn't understand it all, because I was the kind of kid, even at that stage in my life, I'd get the paper, I'd read the sporting section, that was it. I never turned the paper over at the front to see what was going on in the rest of the world. So unless it was footy, rugby, basketball, tennis, cricket, I had no idea. Yeah. And I didn't realise I'd said anything wrong. So Basketball Australia in their wisdom said, we don't want you to say anything anymore. I'm going, well, I'd like to defend myself in that what I said. So I wasn't allowed to say anything. And then a couple of other players came out and said they wouldn't play against him. So now it escalated. Magic then came out and said, look, he didn't want any, and bear in mind, I don't know Magic at this stage. So Irvin's come out and said, I understand, and if people don't want to play against me, then I won't play in that game. Yeah. So about 4 days in, I thought I can't stay silent on this because I didn't mean to offend Magic, didn't mean to say anything wrong. So I was, at that stage I had Jan Event, Darren Hinch and Ray Martin had the midday shows.
Yeah.
So I went on the Ray Martin show because I liked the way Ray
sure.
So he asked me the question, I told him the story, and I said, look, at home right now, because I just got mountains of information coming from all around the world.
Yeah.
I've got boxes, well I haven't got them anymore, I've gotten rid of them, but say boxes this size, this high, full on one side of it's okay to play, from doctors around the world. And obviously some are from disgruntled people, but it's okay to play against him because of these reasons. Then I've got another box right next to it, same size, saying, no, if you play against him, you'll get the HIV virus. So that's where it sat. No one really knew. Then Brian Sando, who was the Crows doctor, was also head of the Olympic doctors in 92.
Yeah.
He came out and said, well, it's a reasonable question that he's asked.
Yeah.
And that kind of diluted it backwards.
Yeah.
So now we get to the 92 Olympic Games. The Dream Team are coming, and traditionally at the Olympic Games, the 100 metres is the premier event. That's the one everybody focuses on. That's the big one. Not anymore. It's the Dream Team. You've got the biggest basketball names in the world, and they're there. So there was a guy called PJ Carlissimo who was an assistant coach with the Dream Team, and he'd been out here, and I knew PJ, and I said, mate, I'd seen him during the day at the opening ceremony. If there's a chance or a chance after, I'd like to just talk to Magic and go, this is what I said. He goes, no, Magic, he's great. He's So we're standing, once you're out on the arena, the opening ceremony, there's quite a lot of stuff happens before you have to get off. So PJ said, come and find us, because they weren't staying in the village. It was too hard for them because the athletes would have been at them all the time. So I walked across, found them, and as I'm walking, I can feel my heart pounding because it's also one of the blokes I've admired growing up. I wanted to play like him. So anyway, he takes me over, meet Magic, and Magic, this is Phil, this is Magic. Oh, really nice to meet you. And PJ said, this is the guy that made the comment about the virus. I said, look, Magic, this exactly what I said to you. I said, this is how it played out, and this is what I said. Put his arm around me and said, we're all good. Mate. He said, we're all good. I understand how the media works. Got a big smile on his face. And he's one of those really charismatic blokes. Like you feel like you've known him your whole life and you're now best friends. And I walked away feeling much better that he'd heard my side of the story and he was all okay. And then, they continue to play through the Olympics and everyone goes to watch them, and they're the hottest item in town. Yeah. So
and they were, weren't they? I mean, that was
they were phenomenal. There was nothing. I've never seen anything like it at any Olympics I've been to before or since. Yeah. Even 2000 in Sydney, the basketball here and the Dream Team came, but not like these guys. This was the greatest named team ever. Yeah. And they were phenomenal. And they were great for the game of basketball. And they were great the way they represented their country. Yeah. And the next teams that came out, there were some that weren't quite as endearing to people. And you go, these guys were all class. Yeah. And dealt with it fantastic.
And even non-basketball people knew about the Dream Team.
Loved them.
Even non-basketball people.
It's funny. You watch
that.
Yeah. So Usain Bolt, for example, you're putting kind of similar, or Michael Phelps. Yeah. But again, they were the next level again. Yeah. So, Usain could walk through the village and you could have a chat. But as soon as they turned up one day at the village just to see what it was like, and it was just masses of athletes following.
You can't do it.
So they could do it. Yeah.
Okay. Best finish fourth?
Fourth, yep. At the World Championships and Olympics.
What can you remember the team?
We played Spain.
Yeah. Can you remember the Australian team? The names. Who was in that? What was your starting five?
There was Longley, Bradkey, Gaze, Borner, Blahoff.
That's a good lineup.
Yeah, Heel.
That's a great lineup. Really. That's
it was a phenomenal lineup. Yeah.
One of the reasons why I wanted to speak to you was because just on social media one day, I saw a post there. Here's Australia's best ever five.
Oh, yeah.
Starting five. Yeah. And I thought, basketball, I'll have a look at that. And I'm looking at the first line, and the second line, and the third line, and there's no Smyth. I thought, well, that's a bit weird. But as I went further, it went berserk. Where is the general? Where's the general? He has to be in the best ever starting five for Australia. And in the end, it was massive. It was, if you wanted to put a vote. But one of the things I wanted to ask you, where does the general come from?
My first 2 or 3 games in Canberra, a fella called Phil Lynch commentated the games. And so back then Canberra had every game on TV in Canberra. They were one of the first.
Okay,
so, you didn't get the stuff like you get now, every game on. But in Canberra, every game was on.
Yeah.
So he was commentating the game and we were coming down. I was just organising the players where they had to be on the flight, head over there. And the guy commentating, Phil Lynch, said, there's Phil Smyth. He's organising the team like a general.
Oh, okay.
And then it just took. I had a lot of other names along the way, but some of them you wouldn't mention on air. But that was the one that stuck.
Yeah.
And then,
amazing.
The point that you talk about, you often get asked this. Is Bradman the greatest player of all time? Should Smyth be in the greatest 5 of all time, or Gaze, or whatever it is? I think they're generational.
Yeah.
If you look at social media now, most of the kids that are on social media, my career is well done now.
Yeah.
So if you go, who's the best team of all time? They'll just vote for the ones that they know.
They know, yeah.
But they're
absolutely.
also 16 to 20 years old.
Yeah.
I'm 66, 67.
I just couldn't believe the flood.
And I'm not, I'm not offended by that stuff.
It just came in. No. They came in like.
And that's fine, because and sometimes, the way the media works now, they do stuff for controversy. But I think you have a window where you dominate for 10 years.
Yeah.
If you're a 10-year, decade player at the top of your game, be it cricket, be it basketball, that's your era. So it probably should be more about who were the greatest in their era as opposed to the greatest of all time, because I don't think you can compare eras. So even if you look at Bradman, as great as he was, and I know there's some flack when you say this, you go, well, he didn't face the speed of the game now and the size of the athletes. And, it's different. World records are broken all the time by better athletes.
Yeah.
You go back and you go, well, Carl Lewis, greatest athlete of all time. Well, Usain Bolt keeps breaking his records.
Well, this is him,
And now his records will get broken.
Yeah.
So again, every now and then you'll get an abnormality like a Jordan.
Yeah.
And you go, it's hard to imagine he wouldn't have dominated.
Or Tiger Woods.
Now, or Tiger Woods. You go, maybe, but I keep him in their decade.
Yeah,
and you're
and
pretty safe.
that's a very good point, mate. That's a good point. I just saw that I bring that up because
it's fine. I'm not,
that flood of people that came in and put
those.
their 5 in.
Yeah.
And you look at that 5, you go, whoa, look at that 5. I mean, because we've had some great players. No doubt Gaze.
Yeah,
I used to love watching Andrew
Gaze.
Gaze.
Terrific.
You're a Gaze medalist, in fact.
Yep.
Yeah. What's that medal for?
It's playing for Australia. Best player for the year for that time playing for Australia.
And you mentioned, how many years in succession did you captain the Boomers? Some say 18.
Oh, that's a bit long.
That's a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a bit too long.
Because you
14 maybe?
Yeah, I mean, that's
14,
18.
Yeah, it's just a number.
Yeah, just a number, But there is one, and you mentioned your ex, Jenny Cheeseman.
Super player.
They're at one Olympics there.
84.
Both captained
Australia.
Which that's a first.
Well, funny enough, if you're talking about status, and again, it's that one where men got higher profile than the women.
Yeah.
Jenny played netball for Australia.
Yeah.
She played softball for Australia, and she played basketball for Australia. So a phenomenal athlete.
Yeah,
she doesn't get the recognition
that
she deserves. She was an absolute female superstar.
Yeah.
And probably be a better interview than the one you're currently doing.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Order of Australia.
Order of Australia medal.
Part of your. We mentioned the Gaze medal.
Yep.
Which is a great medal, by the way.
Absolutely. Yep.
But Order of Australia, that's something a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty special. Again,
you
tend to be a little bit ignorant when you're playing sport. Again, because you're so centrally focused, single-minded focus on the job and what you're doing. Don't get distracted was part of my mantra, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
And playing in Canberra, and you get a phone call saying you're going to be considered for this. Is it something that you'd consider? And you go, don't know who you're talking to. It's someone from government. Oh, yeah, I suppose that'd be nice. They don't really tell you too much about it.
Yeah.
And then you get a letter that comes. It might be different now, because of emails and all that. But you get a letter, comes in, and it's got the official stamp on it. So I open it up, and it said you're being considered for an AM, Australian medal. So there's OAM, Order of Australia, AM, and then it goes up to knighthood.
Yeah.
AM. Probably have to go and get that in the morning, do I? Because it's not a PM, it's an AM.
It's an AM medal.
Yeah. That's what I thought at the time. No, I'm telling you the truth. That's what I thought. I'm going, so this is something you do in the morning. Because I didn't read it, I kind of skimmed it, AM, put it down and put it away. And then, of course, they follow up. And then you start to realise this is a big deal.
Yeah.
This is a big deal. So being in Canberra, of course, you turn up to Government House, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think every Prime Minister from probably 64 to you know, when it happened, I can't remember the year that it happened, 94, 96.
Yeah.
We're all there. Fraser's there, you know, and so you get to meet all these guys, and suddenly you realise, wow, this is pretty special.
Yeah. And it is special.
It is.
It's a great award.
Yeah.
It's a great award.
Yeah.
But you have other awards. You're a Hall of Fame member of Australian Sporting Hall of Fame, in fact. You're a member of that, and you meet often.
They meet once a year. Yeah. Once a year, you go to Melbourne, and there's about 300 now that are in the hall. There might be a few more, and they get added every year.
Yeah.
That is a humbling room to walk into when you walk in there and you go, wow, look at the people.
And you're sitting at a table with
them. Oh, yeah. And Glennis Nunn, who's been a friend of mine over the journey, just got the odd gold medal. Greatest kept athlete of her era. But you know what? The one thing you learn when you get in there, that sporting people have a great connection. Everyone's pretty much the same, whether you're a motor racer, whether you're a footballer, whether you're a basketballer. It's a really humbling room to walk into. Yeah. And I think I was lucky across the journey. You know, my mum and dad were really balanced people in that they didn't get caught up in it. And Mum she was a humble lady, everything the same. So, you know, when you talk about where are your awards or can you remember them, and they're all special in some way. But Basketball Australia gave me a beautiful statue when I played my 300th game for Australia. Yeah. It was a gold. It was shaped beautifully. Mum's got it as a doorstop at her front door. So, you know, people walk in and they look at it and they go, shouldn't that be somewhere? And it is somewhere special because it means something to Mum. Yeah. You know, so it stops the door from closing. Yeah. You know, and it's not that it's no less value to me than other things, but it's kind of like, you know, that makes sense to me. But other people will be horrified by that. Yeah. You know.
Let's go back. Let's go back into the Olympics and let's get into a bit of trash talk. Because, mate, it happens. You know, people, you can watch the game on TV all you like, but if you're out in the middle, that's where all the action is.
And you know, I always thought Muhammad Ali was the start of trash talk. You know, and he had some charisma about his, and then it kind of got personal. You know, and some of his got personal as well, but you know, he started. I think he was the starter of it. You know, because he brought it into the public forum. It might have been happening a little bit before, but then everybody got into it. Yeah. And I wasn't a trash talker. I was too busy trying to get oxygen and work out what plays we were running, what we're doing. So I never got much into that kind of stuff. But it had a fair bit thrown at me across the journey. And we're playing Brazil. What have been the third Olympic Games? We're playing in Seoul. And it was either there, I reckon it was. And a player came into the game to defend me, and he started talking trash to me. And with his accent, he kept saying, and I was number 6. He's going, "I'm going to wash your ass, 6." What did he say to me? You know, you've heard all the other stuff, you know, about your mother or your sister or your partner. He couldn't. I must have misheard. Anyway, I get back onto the game, and he's up to me again. "I'm going to wash your ass, 6." This went on. Every second time up and down the floor, he's going to wash my ass. So the game, half-time finished. We go off, come back, and we're back on the court getting ready to start. Not as you play across the journey, you get familiar with the guys you play against, and often you're in a hotel together or the village together, and you see a lot of each other every 2 or 3 years, and you get to know. There's a fellow called Oscar Schmidt who was a phenomenal player for Brazil. He was one of the greatest, and we'd become quite good mates. Yeah. So I walked up to Oscar because we're waiting for the umpires to come out with the ball, and we're kind of just standing. I said, "Mate, I think there's something wrong with one of your teammates. He's over there." He said, "What's wrong with him?" I said, "We keep telling him he's going to wash my ass." He said, "I don't know what he's going on about." I said, "Can you go and check out if he's all right?" So he's got a smile on his face, so he walks around, comes back. He goes, "Oh, his English is not so good. He meant to say he's going to kick your ass." That whole the whole third, fourth quarter, he didn't come anywhere near me. He was supposed to guard me. He was that embarrassed about what he said. He's standing over there where you are instead of right next to me talking trash. And so it was So sometimes even when you're talking trash, it can be quite funny. There are some really funny stuff that gets said to guys. You know, Andrew Gage used to cop it all the time because they call him Mr. Potato Head and he'd just smile at him. Yeah. And I reckon it's you know,
and they're the worst kind, the smilers. The ones that you sledge. And they smile back at you and don't say anything. They're the ones that get on my nerves. Yeah. They want a bit of action coming back at you. It's funny. Ian Chappell, I got to know Ian over the journey, and I admired him as a great captain and a great leader. Great sledger.
And I just the look when I've watched him over the journey playing, and I see the look on his face, and I reckon he doesn't have to say anything. I think he could just melt you with his eyes.
That's true.
You think you got a sledge? Just get the look and you'd be going.
It's true.
I probably wouldn't stop. I'd probably give it up right there. No, there are some players that, Cam Rayner for mine, if you talk about the footy world, he's got that where I know guys are saying, and he just has this smile on his face.
Yes, he does.
And I reckon you look at him and you go, here's this powerful unit, and he's just smiling at me, you'd go, this is a waste of time.
Yeah.
This is a waste of time. And I found over the journey, if you didn't talk back after a while, they kind of gave it up because there's no banter coming back.
And you brought your Pelly up. No, you shouldn't have done that. He's playing against Western Australia one day, and he's got Rick Charlesworth batting now. Rick wasn't the quickest scorer, he whatever. Anyway, Mallard is bowling, and he's going boom, 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 and he just bunting everything back. And I'm fielding at short leg, just there. And Ian's at first slip, and this happens for a couple of overs, and he's not hitting them off the square, and he's not doing anything. And Ian leaned across and he looked at me and goes, the best place to watch this bloke is on TV. And Rick Charles was pulled away, turned around, looked at Chappelli. Then he comes back in over his bat again. And Ian goes, because if you don't like him, you can turn him off. And I think, But there was the dream team would have been great sledges. There would have been a couple of great sledges in there because they can.
Well, Charles Barkley was a great sledger, but the thing that they did through the whole Olympics was they carried themselves with great class.
Yeah.
So they didn't get involved. Charles made one mistake early on, made a comment that he shouldn't have made public, and then I think he learnt really quickly that, okay, this is not the format for that, or whether that was he could see with the guys around him, Dave Robinson, the guys, the way they carried themselves were nothing but great representation of their country and themselves.
Yeah.
And you walk away going, they could have been the opposite. They could have been really arrogant.
Yeah.
But there was none of that. They were the epitome of how you'd want your team to be.
Yeah. Okay.
Class, just class.
All right. Now, just before we go here, the Sixers at the moment, where are we at? What's going on down there? I mean, we seem to be changing. I don't know. Not so much coaches and all that. Oh no, that's a question I was going to ask you, Phil. During your period with the Boomers, you would have had a number of coaches, or did we change that much?
3 coaches. No, Lindsay Gaze, Adrian Hurley, Barry Barnes. So across the 20-year journey, only 3 coaches.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep. These days they tend to go bang,
They
bang,
change
bang,
them
bang,
over.
bang, bang,
They burn them out a bit. The coach is the easy one to target.
Yeah.
Always. And I'll come back to your question about the 6. I'm not trying to avoid that. But
no.
you look at Michael Voss right now.
Yeah.
Now, using him as an example, I talk about footy, acres a minute, but everyone can relate to footy because it's the item. You can pick other sports, but we'll just use that. So, I don't know Vossi. I've said hello to him once in my life. So it's got nothing to do with, is he a mate, is he anything? I just, Last 2 years, he's got them in the finals. Yeah. And I don't think people understand how difficult it is just to get your team into the finals. And the way the AFL system is set up, that's how they want it to play out. They don't want one team to dominate for 30 years. They want teams to roll out and teams to come up. That's what the drafting is designed to do.
Unless you're
Collingwood, and then you've got to factor in the injuries. And coaches do what they can when they front the media to go, one guy's down, another opportunity for someone else. One soldier down, another soldier up. This kid gets his opportunity. We've heard all the party lines that get it, and that's the right thing to say. I mean, you can't sit in front of the media and go, "Oh yes, we've just lost Power Pepper and we're replacing him with Johnny Smith." Johnny's not as good, of course. We know that, and he will never be quite as good. But so no coach is ever going to say that.
That's right.
So they always give you there's an opportunity, which it is for someone else. But I have what I call players that you can't replace. So you lose 2 or 3 of those irreplaceables, and you don't have anyone that comes up to that level. Now, 3 of those across the line is massive in any sport, or 2 in our game. Key players. And you go...
It hurts.
So, I haven't looked at the current list, but Vossi's lost a couple of those, and a couple of guys are not in good form. For whatever reason, they might be struggling, not into it. But you go... Understand that he got you in the finals 2 years in a row where you haven't been for a long time. And he's having a bad couple of games. I know the margins don't help, but the style of game now allows for big scores. And some teams are playing that way. So, you could have played a team 5 years ago and same thing's happened. You only lost by 30 points. Now it could be 80 or 90 because the game's much quicker. So you've got to factor all that in. You go, I think I'd be very careful going, it's all Vossi's fault.
Yeah.
It's never the coach's only fault.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be management, it can be players, it can be recruiting. There's a whole lot of stuff you need to look at.
Yeah.
But the coach is always the easiest one to go
He's
bang.
the one under the pump.
So now you talk about the Sixers, they've turned their coaches over quite often. So your question has to be, who made the decision to appoint them in the first place?
Yeah.
So we're backing them in or not.
Yeah.
So Chris Fagan, for example, his first 2 years with Brisbane weren't very good.
Yeah.
I think he won 5 games in his first 2 years because he didn't have the talent. Brisbane were nearly out of the AFL. Now, if you're talking about a coach that's done amazing things, if you just go, okay, let's just focus on the coach or his assistant coach, you go, well, Chris Fagan and Danny Daly took a club that was on its knees to now premiership winners last year, grand final the year before, and look like they're going to be there again. Now, if someone had pulled the pin really early and you got rid of those two blokes, or you go, well,
good point.
So you've got to be careful. But there's evidence that stacks up. So this year the Sixers, I think the fans are expecting them to be in the finals, deep into the finals. They've recruited what looks like top-line players.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the excuses for not making it now are far less.
That's right.
So if you're in that position where the owner, Grant Kelly's opened up the checkbook, which I think he's opened up plenty of times before, by the way, has given them everything they've asked for, and they don't succeed. Now he's probably got I gave you everything you wanted, so you're out and you're out. But if you haven't got everything you want, the question in the end is the playing group playing as well as it can. If they are and they're not winning, you go, well, there's not much more the coach can do. Now I've given you everything you asked for and you didn't win. Now the heat's on you. So I think you have to balance it out where you're pointing and who you're blaming.
Good point, mate. It's a good point. But the poor old coach, he's the one in it that gets in the neck, and he's watching players out there not trying.
Mate, it is a dark place. There are dark places coaches go to. I think people look at them and go, "Oh, he's getting $1 million a year or $800,000 a year, whatever the number is." I can tell you, there would not be a head coach in the AFL, and you've been close to Ken, and I've been around a lot of them. I've been fortunate to be around a lot of them. That wouldn't work any less than 90 hours a week.
Oh, absolutely.
That'll be the minimum.
Yeah.
And you go, they're sleeping 4 or 5 days. It's not a job you want to be in for a long time for your health. Sleep deprivation gets you the constant, because it's right there. 2 hours in, they either love you or they hate you. And then you've got all these people that have an opinion on why you lost. But I didn't see any of those at training. I didn't see any of those in the meetings.
That's right.
So you don't. Again, that's why I can't tell you with Vossi. I'm not close enough to go, I don't know. But from the outside, you're telling me he was a good coach 2 years ago, 2 finals, which are bloody hard to get into. But he's no good this year. I reckon he's a better coach in his 3rd year than he was in his 1st year.
Very good point.
So just let's be clear. And there's huge pressure, I know, sponsors and all that. So, mate, I always get asked this one about my kids. Do my kids play sport? You're the same. You've got kids. I've got 3 daughters. Well, they must have played basketball. I mean, they all played a little bit of basketball. They all played netball. All played some other stuff. Oh, well, with your lineage and your ex-wife's lineage, they must have been superstars. So they probably could have been. I said, but growing up, our advice to the 3 of them was go and enjoy sport. Go and make great friends. Don't care if you don't play at Olympic Games. Don't care. But go and all 3 of them have got life friendships out of it.
There you go.
Still involved in sport. So I think that's the one great thing about sport. It doesn't always have to focus on high achievers. Sport gives us a lot of things in life as well that we should enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
I look at people, you might, so my fiancée, she's a muso, grand piano, plays the piano, and she's a star. And we talk about playing the piano, and she's a financial advisor versus playing sport. And, different paths, but again, if you're committed, she's very successful at what she does because she's committed. So I guess what I'm saying is you don't always have to be at this level to have enjoyed what you've done. I've been fortunate that I've enjoyed it and succeeded, but it's no greater joy I've had watching my 3 daughters smile and have fun playing with their friends at netball. So,
couldn't agree more, mate.
Yeah.
Great to talk to you. I talk to you every day.
You do, mate. I don't normally tell you any of this stuff, do I?
Not at this level, because I think you're one of the greats of the sport in this state, in Australia. So you're always going to be caught up with. I was always going to get you at one stage. So now we've done that. Now we've done that. We don't have to talk to you anymore.
To do it again. Thank goodness for that, mate.
But congratulations on what you've achieved, mate.
I appreciate it.
And what you're achieving at the moment, because I know that you do great work with Fags up in Brisbane, you bastard. But I shouldn't have said that, should I?
No, you can say it, mate.
I know. I'm going to say it again too, you bastard.
I've got to tell you, I was nervous coming in here though, mate, because you know when you got to come in,
Yeah.
and I'm just uncomfortable with the going, what's Bazz going to? Because you said you were going to do it, and I was thinking, maybe he's forgotten.
Yeah.
Then I roll up, and Ashby and you're all set up here. I'm going, this doesn't look like we've forgotten, does it?
No,
and,
no, we're not.
What's he going to ask me? Where's he going to go?
Yeah, you know me better than that, mate. I wouldn't. The last thing I'd ever do is set you up.
No,
Although,
I
might.
You could. There's still time.
Over, yeah.
Anyway, it's been a great interview. Let's end it on that.
Good on you, mate.
Good on
Thanks
you,
for joining us on the Sporting Spotlight.
Here to
Phil
Fusion
Smyth
Australia.
was our special guest.
Thanks, folks.
No, get out, mate. You want to be on all the time. Like, share, subscribe. That really helps us out. Don't worry about what Bazz says. Like, share, subscribe.